Now, Republican Senator Josh Hawley tonight is raising serious concerns about the record of Biden's Supreme Court nominee, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, now pointing to what he calls an alarming pattern of lenient treatment towards sex offenders. For example, as Hawley writes, quote, as a member of the U.S. Sentencing Commission, Judge Jackson advocated for drastic change in how the law treats sex offenders by eliminating the existing mandatory minimum sentences for child pornography, and citing one case where the sentencing guidelines called for a sentence of up to 10 years in prison, but Judge Jackson sentenced the perpetrator to only 3 months behind bars. Now, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki said that the criticism was taken out of context, and some of the remarks were something a witness said in order to ask a question. And that's not all, because we're also learning that Biden's nominee praised the discredited 1619 Project in an MLK Day speech back in 2020. The confirmation hearings, they are expected to begin on Monday. Here to explain more, Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley. Senator, tell everybody what you found.
Well, what I found, Sean, is a pattern here of treating sex offenders leniently, those who have gone after children. And I think we just have a basic question to ask. Are we going to get a judge here who's going to protect children or who's going to protect child predators? It's a simple question. It's one I think that every parent in America would like answered, but it's one that the White House doesn't want to answer. And so far, Judge Jackson doesn't want to answer it. Total radio silence from her. And if you look at her record, what you see is this is someone who has consistently let sex predators, child sex predators, off the hook. For people who have been convicted of child porn offenses, she's consistently given them lenient sentences, slaps on the wrist. This is someone who has raised the question whether sex offender registries are unconstitutional, whether notifying parents when there's a sex offender in the area is unconstitutional. She suggested all of that. I mean, this is very troubling. We need to get the answers.
You say that this came both as a judge and a policymaker, meaning her background, and you're concerned that this is a record that will endanger children, and you cite other cases. I mean, how does somebody facing a 10-year sentence for something this serious only get 3 months in prison?
Yeah, that's the problem, Sean. If you look at what she's done as a judge on the bench, when she had the chance to put away child predators over and over again when it comes to these child porn cases, these are pedophiles we're talking about, she chose to give them the lightest sentence possible in case after case. I mean, you mentioned one. The guidelines recommended 10 years. She gave him 3 months. And we could go on and on. The problem is I haven't been able to find a single case where she has had a child porn offender, a pedophile in front of her, where she hasn't given him the most lenient sentence she possibly could. And again, this is someone since law school who has been saying that the sex offender registries may be unconstitutional, that notifying parents about sex offenders in their neighborhood may be unconstitutional, and who voted as a member of the U.S. Sentencing Commission. She voted to get rid of the mandatory minimum sentences for child porn. So this is a long pattern. It stretches over many years, and we need to get answers on this.
You know, Senator, when you look at, for example, and you read about prisons and two things that consistently prisoners don't like that I hear about. One, they don't like rats, people that tell on other people to cut deals to make their life easier. And the second thing is those that are predators against children. I can't think of a single logical reason why there's leniency on this issue, considering we're talking about the most innocent people in society. Have you come to any conclusion as to why this is?
I can't figure it out, Sean, and this is what we need to hear from her on. I mean, she's really going to have to tell us. This is why her hearings are so important. I mean, we need to know, why did she give these offenders such light sentences? Why did she vote to get rid of mandatory minimum sentences, the existing ones anyway, for child pornography? Why did she say way back as early as law school, why was she saying that maybe these sex offender registries and other protective measures were unconstitutional? I mean, these are questions that she's going to need to answer, and I think every parent in America is going to want to know the answers, because this is a lifetime appointment to the U.S. Supreme Court we're talking about here. She could be ruling on these cases, and we need to know.
Well, we need to know, real quick, of your fellow Republicans, do they share your concern? We got 10 seconds.
You know, I hope so, Sean. I hope so, and I think you're going to see a lot of tough questioning next week.
Well, we're going to watch closely starting Monday. Thank you, Senator.